Kristina Scaman.
I don't know how this is going to work out, but sure, why not? Yeah, so Jeff asked me a couple weeks ago if I wanted to share a story with you guys here at Happy Endings. And it didn't take long for me to decide which story it was that I was going to share. This particular memory is by far one of the most uncomfortable recollections that I have. And so much so that on nights when it comes back to me, I still jolt upright in bed in like covered in a nervous sweat, just thinking about it. It's very, very awkward and embarrassing, to say the least. So I hope at least that translates into some entertainment for you guys, because God knows it hasn't brought me anything else. But it's a story that I never share with anyone, and if I had any dignity, keyword there, I would probably keep it that way. I was actually just reminded of it recently when another female friend that I have and I started talking about how we both had short haircuts as kids. And with that, of course, inevitably came the anecdotes about being confused for a boy. Now, I don't mean to brag, but to date, I've never heard a story about gender confusion that is quite on level with mine, so buckle up. I'd actually always had relatively long hair up until about grade 2. My mom was diagnosed for the first time with lymphoma in the middle of grade 2, and when she started her chemotherapy treatments, she had asked if I wanted to cut my hair with her. And of course I opted to do that because it was my mom, and obviously it was kind of like a difficult patch or whatnot. My mom's treatments, very fortunately, went really well, and she went into remission later that year, which was fantastic. But I continued to maintain this very short haircut. I hadn't really missed my long hair, and my new hair required no maintenance whatsoever, which was right in line with my interests of doing as little as humanly possible at all times. It never bothered me on the occasions when I was being confused for a boy. Even at the time, I appreciated that I didn't really have any secondary sexual characteristics to set me apart. So it was kind of, I don't know, I gave it to them. And I mean, outside of the occasional supermarket cashier complimenting my mother on how fantastic her son's manners were, or the quick double takes in the women's washroom as I walked past other women, nothing ever really came of it. And so it never really caused many problems for me. But in the spring of grade 5, still had a short haircut, my older sister encouraged me and my younger sister to join a local rugby club here in Calgary called the Calgary Irish. I'm not sure if anyone is familiar. She's wearing green, and she...
I played field hockey for the Calgary Irish.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a real thing. Yeah, you know it now. For background, I guess I should also go through. I'm the middle of 2 sisters, or 3 sisters. There's 2 other sisters that I have. My younger sister Elise is 2 years younger, and at the time she was a very nervous and shy personality. Always found attached to my hip, following me around. Melissa, on the other hand, is 10 years my senior. And because of the age gap, her relationship with both Elise and myself was kind of more akin to probably like a second mom. Like, she wasn't really so much a sister, but she took on a lot of responsibility, as far as taking care of me and my younger sister. Well, I mean, that is if a second mother's role is to coerce you into eating the vegetarian meal she made you by threatening to put you in the closet with the other dead people. She read a lot of Anne Rice. And I don't think at any point it would be unfair to describe Melissa as a real hard ass. She had no problem at any point in our lives dictating Elise and I's activities, regardless of our opinion on the matter. In fact, prior to her signing us up for rugby, one of her regular Saturday activities for us involved her bringing us to the Gap to try on as many pairs of jeans as we could, so that we could slip these little cards inside of all the pockets that said something along the lines of, these jeans were made by a child in Malaysia. So all of the people wearing size 6 children's jeans could understand what we always used to beg her, like, can we just eat cereal and watch cartoons for like one Saturday? And sometimes she would relent, like if the cereal was organic fair trade and the cartoon was Captain Planet. Sometimes we're allowed to do that. But so all being said and done, rugby was probably one of the most normal activities that we got signed up for as kids. That being the case, though, both Elise and I were still pretty nervous about having to join. We were young girls, and rugby is a notoriously rough sport. Especially considering that neither of us had an aggressive nature, like, at all. I was definitely what a lot of people would consider a tomboy, but I definitely preferred my violence, like, to be of the video game nature. That was where my comfort level was. So yeah, she basically kind of forced us to go to these team tryouts, and they started in early April, I believe, is when the season starts. And I remember Elise, being as she was especially keen to get on the same team as me, because she kind of wanted us to watch out for each other and stick together and whatnot. So yeah, we ended up doing like a small number of like these rudimentary drills and whatnot, so they could assess our different abilities or whatever. And later in the day, the different coaches started splitting the teams up. When we found out that we weren't placed on the same team, I had initially assumed that it was because of our age gap or a difference in ability. But it became obvious almost immediately that I had been placed on this new team based on my presumed ability to have a penis. Now, looking back on it, there were 2 reasons why I feel like I didn't clear it up right away, and I didn't. The first of which was that at no point did I feel there was really an opportunity to do so. According to my teammates, there was absolutely no ambiguity to my gender. I was just definitely a boy. To my credit, I did introduce myself very pointedly as Kristina. To which I remember one of the boys replying with something along the lines of like, ugh, why would your parents name you that? They hate you. It was like, whatever, my brother's name's Terry. You obviously go by Chris, right? That's obviously. Which brings me to my second reason, and one that I don't think should be so easily overlooked. And that was that I was an adolescent person, and I was super eager to fit in with peers and make friends, even if they thought I was not who I was. And they were actually like a really surprisingly open and super friendly group of people. Yeah, despite their apparent inability to detect my gender. That's fine. I was basically like welcomed to the team by each one of them with like a slap on the back and like a, hey, I see you also enjoy not combing your hair. Want to take up the time in between plays by talking about video games? And I did. So I proceeded to do what I believe any 11-year-old girl would do in my position, which was continue to real-life catfish this group of prepubescent for the entire 3-month rugby season. So I wasn't dumb. I knew as soon as I committed to this deception that it was only a matter of time before it blew up in my face. If Amanda Bynes couldn't pull it off, and she's the man, neither could I. I was under no false pretenses there. And my anxiety about this inevitability grew exponentially every day. Like as time went on, and I kept digging myself deeper and deeper into this hole. Just me pretending to be excited at the prospect of one day growing a beard. Telling dick jokes that I didn't make any sense to me. Up until that point, everything I knew about the male genitalia was based off a crude 2D drawing I once saw in sex ed. One class that I had, so they were a little vague. I was definitely reaching on some of those. I do have to say that my constant paranoia definitely hindered my contribution to the team. I feel I would have someone trying to pass me like a ball. And I would be too busy trying to make sure the straps of my training bra weren't visible through my jersey to catch anything. Or just generally trying to make sure I was standing like a badass dude would stand. I spent a lot of time doing that very consciously. And any comment regarding any characteristic of mine that was even remotely feminine would send me into like a near panic attack. I felt like I was just waiting constantly for this group of people to put it together. Put it all together. A team member would say something like, dude, you dropped the ball. You were playing like a girl out there. Maybe we should call you Kristina. You delicate-limbed, high-pitched voice-having boy. And I would just be like paralyzed in fear the entire time until I follow that up with like a, well, see you next practice, or whatever. So this continued for 3 months. I tricked these people for 3 months. And against all odds and all logic, everything went relatively smoothly, and I hadn't raised any suspicions to my knowledge. Granted, to my knowledge, I also didn't cause any of the boys to question their sexuality either, which is important. That was one of the "she's the man" checkboxes that I did miss. I was disappointed in myself. All this eventually led up to our team playing our final match of the season against our rival team, no less, the Calgary Hornets. Is it a real thing? Have you heard of it? Yeah. No, I didn't. Yes, it is a real thing. It was the end of June, so the weather was nice, but like still relatively mild because it's Canada and it is always relatively mild. But I remember we were really all like super focused on winning this particular team or this particular game. I don't know much about sports, you can tell. These two teams, it's kind of weird to describe it. It's kind of almost like Calgary and Edmonton. Like there's like a long checkered history with the two teams going back to like when a lot of the teammates' parents were playing the games. They're very like heated matches. And our team was definitely giving it our best, and we were losing miserably. We were losing all of the points. So the match ended, and everyone on our team was kind of somber because they were going home to be hit by their parents. And I had to keep refraining from smiling like the biggest smile. I felt like I was walking on air. I had pulled off this whole charade, and no one had gotten wise of what I'd done, with no negative consequences. So, I just felt like this huge weight had been like lifted off my shoulders that I'd been carrying with me. So we were all standing around afterwards, mostly talking about our plans for the summer and starting to say our goodbyes. When my sister Elise, with impeccable timing, pops up out of nowhere behind me and says, "Come on, Kristina, we have to go. Mom's waiting in the car." To which this boy Brandon, who I had become particularly close friends with in the time, said, like, "What the hell? Why do you guys always call him Kristina?" And my sister, just like really dumbfounded, was like, "Because that's her name?" And then all of these faces just kind of started to look at her. And after another long pause, she followed that up with, "Because she's a girl." And then I just watched as the entire team's collective jaw dropped. And all of them turned to look at me. And after that, I was basically like, "Bye!" And I ran to my mom's car, never to see a single one of them again. I remember getting into the back of the car, and the entire way home, I would just look over, and Elise was just in there like. And that's that story. So.
I was like, no, the norms are being violated. You haven't done enough. Nice.
Do I get it?
No, stay.
Stay.
Hi, everyone. Awesome story. So my first question is, you said nothing. They never got attracted to you. You never amended Bynes stuff.
No, I didn't. No.
Did you ever have any feelings for any of
Was there a Channing Tatum is what he's asking.
Is Channing Tatum in that movie?
Yeah, he's the
I know Channing Tatum? He's the
Younger.
Okay. So
the boy I mentioned earlier, Brandon, like I said, he and I got particularly close, not in that way.
At 11.
Why'd you say it
At
like that?
11.
We got 11-year-olds.
I feel like I was, especially me, kind of like as a late bloomer in that sense, I wasn't ever particularly aware of like being attracted to guys for like quite a sad amount. I still am not, so you know, go through life just as I am. But no, I didn't really. I don't think so. Or maybe the fact that they were ignoring me kind of like a little bit. Maybe it did something for me, I don't know.
Yeah.
Literally, I was,
Well, you were. Okay, 11-years-olds.
Yep.
Yeah.
So many questions, I'm so excited.
So, like, where was your family during
Yeah.
this whole how did they, like, just be like, she's little, it's probably fine. Like,
that is a good question.
Yeah.
My parents weren't, like, they were, in any kind of activity, they were very much the, "I'll drop you off, like, see you an hour later" type thing. My younger sister, who was also in rugby, was playing on another team full of girls, oddly enough. And it was funny because on occasion she would like shout things to me across the field because we'd be practicing at the same time. And so she'd be like, "Hey, Kristina, did Mom like blah, blah, blah?" And then all the guys on my team, they were just like my bros. They'd be like, "I can't believe your family just calls you Kristina."
Some of the gender issues for you.
Yeah, just a little bit of low self-esteem.
It's just
That's
didn't
cool.
like say something about the fact you were playing with boys?
I don't know. No, apparently not. Anybody, sure. We're gonna.
I have a two-part question.
Yeah. Only one.
One,
Yeah.
when did this happen in relation to the release of She's the Man?
I was trying to figure that out.
She's the Man was 06, if that helps.
Right, like not a second. Not even IMDb.
Well, I graduated in 09, so that would make. I think that was several years. Like it was 4 or 5 years earlier.
So they've done the reading.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure actually maybe it was just one of the coaches was like, "This could be a movie."
No, let's see. Or he was a creep.
Yeah.
So the second part
Yes.
is, since that's the case, that it came out after. What was the experience of watching that movie like?
It was very entertaining. I kind of have an affinity with that movie. I enjoy She's the Man. I think it's
great.
It's
great.
Yeah.
Does it have verisimilitude? Is it real?
I feel I really the part of She's the Man that I really enjoy is just kind of when Amanda Bynes is playing her brother, how fake and false her interpretation of a man is. Because that was exactly what I would do. I'd be like, yeah, I'm a dude. That's what dudes do, right?
It's on Netflix Norway, if anyone else.
That is not a question.
Everyone wanted to know what country's Netflix had. Everyone was asking.
What about your sister Melissa, who signed you up for this?
She wasn't at that last. Actually, she didn't know about this until I told her that I was going to talk about it here. She was at a dinner, and my sister was asking me what story I was going to tell, and I said, "Oh, remember how I was a boy for 3 months?" And she was like, "Oh my God, yes!" And then everyone in my family was like, "What?" My sister, to her credit, did not tell anyone what a fucking weirdo I was. It was at the library or something. I can't say.
It's a bookstore. It's one of those libraries you can buy all the books and steal all the books.
Can you not swear at library?
Quietly.
So, are you a boy now?
Yes, I am a boy now.
So,
Yes.
so you literally never saw any of those dudes again? Like,
I
did you
actually-
ever
I
like
think,
face stalk Brandon or anything? Just like,
No,
he's gay
I
now,
have
or like
no
what she
idea
was
what his
like?
last name was. I have no memory for that. I actually did see Brandon at a supermart a couple months later, but it was very much me. Like, I saw him around the corner and like avoided the hell out of him for the rest of the. I was not going to face that.
Has telling the story made you want to find him again?
No, right?
Was there ever a bathroom incident? Like when you had
Yeah,
to use the
no,
washroom?
I don't think I could have pulled it off for that long. But it was very much like come in your sports clothes and leave in your sports clothes. Don't have to deal with any bathroom shenanigans. So.
But what if you go pee or something?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
What a
Change
build
that.
like a man.
What man?
Right, like I was the inventor of that woman pee cup.
This is a place of truth. This is a library.
I invented it out of necessity. It was a necessity. It was a place of truth. I'm sorry. I lied to you.
Have you seen the French film Tomboy?
I have not. Do I want to?
It's no, she's the man.
Took down over to I have not. I'm an intelligent person. I've seen French films.
In this one, a girl pretending to be a boy has to survive a swimming scene with the boys.
Oh.
Think about that.
I was invited for the Brandon kid. Like we actually became decent friends. He invited me to his birthday, which was a swimming party, and I couldn't make it. That is true. I was gonna tell that, but it didn't really fit in the story. But you asked, and now it does.
Have you seen the English film Shakespeare in Love?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
So how long after this happened did you start growing your hair out?
6 years? Yeah, no, I did not give a shit.
Yeah,
I was surprisingly unabashed about what had happened. Yep, that's just me. So, are those the
Any
questions?
other questions?
I could go on for hours.
Stu will be in the back answering questions about She's a Man, IMDb, various Netflix. Guys, Kristina Scaman, everybody.